So I recently bought the Rare Beauty, and this is in the shade Hope. Um, Honestly, like I'm really into lip oils, and the reason why I got this is because they say that it tints your lips, but it's $20, and I just bought the last one at Sephora. Personally, I'll swatch it for you guys to see. It is a nice shade. I'm trying to layer it up because this dries down really quick and the oil doesn't really stay. Don't come at me, but do I really think this is worth $20? Personally, I don't think it's worth $20. It's very lightweight. It's like a lightweight, medium consistency. Of course, I tend to layer it quite a bit because when I'm putting on lip oil, I want my lips to be juicy, okay? But the tint in itself, maybe because it's so close to my real lip shade, it's not really something that wows me. Personally, I think you should probably just save your money. Personally, my favorite lip oil right now, it is still the NYX Fat Oil Lip Drip here. This is in the shade Newsfeed. And the reason why I like this one is because it gives my lips another kind of a color. And it's a thicker consistency. So I'll swatch. This is the NYX Lip Oil. Okay, this is again Newsfeed. This is the Rare Beauty Lip Oil. We'll swatch it right underneath it. So you can see that this definitely has more color that will bring to your actual lips. And then this is going to be a lighter lip oil. So, you know, I guess a lot of it really depends on what you prefer on your lips. I prefer a lip oil that is going to be thicker consistency. And I do like the shade better for the Newsfeed versus this shade here, which is Hope for the Rare Beauty. Now, I was really hoping to try out other colors. I did also get the shade Happy, but Happy was a much darker nude than I am used to wearing, so I gave it to my sister Molly. Rare Beauty, it will actually tint your lips versus the Fat Oil by NYX here, it won't tint your lips. So I'm just going to go ahead and wipe it off right here. Excuse my nails from New York. And here you can see it is tinting my skin. Whereas the NYX lip oil, it doesn't really tint your lips. But that's why I got the Rare Beauty, because of the tinting. It's really not coming off, you guys. So I'm just going to film with this now. So I'll tell you guys what I actually do, because I've already spent $20 on this. So what I do is then I just top it off with my NYX Fat Oil Lip Drip. And you notice on my bottom lip here, it has more color versus the top one. It doesn't have as much color. Personally, it's just the coloring that I don't really like. And again, I like it to be of a thicker, juicier type of lip oil. Whereas the top, I feel like I'm wearing lipstick. And it just is a glossy lipstick. That's what it feels like. Now I'm happy, okay? So yeah, because I have to layer them though, I feel as though I really just got a lipstick and then I ended up having to use my lip oil still, where I was just hoping it was a little bit juicier when it came to the Rare Beauty, but I do like that it tints your lip. Is it worth $20 though? Personally, no. I kind of feel like I just ate something really greasy. Welcome back, you guys. I'm Tassie, and this is my Shaman by Mars channel. So today, let's go over some Q&A that I was asked for my previous videos. And first thing first, I always like to start off with my ghostly update. So recently, I was actually driving to St. Paul. And as I was driving to St. Paul, on the side, it was the Mississippi River I was driving over. But there were all of these trees. And they were like barren trees because, you know, we're coming into the end of spring here. We still haven't gotten a whole lot of buds on our trees yet. But then I was driving and also I look again and there was this spirit swinging on the tree and it was just so happy. So that was actually really cool for me. And then it brought back like old memories because I used to have a house that I owned in St. Paul and there was a tree spirit in the front of the house. And I remember I was just like, it was just this whole like nostalgic thing that was bringing me back to when I used to always go and play in the woods and I would talk to spirits. I haven't done that in a long time now that I'm an adult. Everything is go, 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 go. So, you know, it was just really, really well, like just nice and nostalgic to see it so happy, just swinging there. And I was just like touched. Now, on a not so fun side, Molly and I, we were just at the Asian grocery store. We were going to Eat Street, and you guys saw me posting it. We went to Eat Street Crossings, which is like a food hall. But before that, we went to the Asian grocery store. And I'm like looking at the drinks, at the Asian drinks, trying to figure out what I want. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll just grab something. And then all of a sudden I turn around and right next to Molly, there was this ghost that was standing directly behind me. And I remember I was like, oh my God. And I like gripped onto Molly and Molly was like, what's wrong? And I was just like, nothing. I just saw a ghost. And I just like kept walking. But for that ghost to be that close to me, it was very alarming. And Molly's just like, what do I do with this information? Nothing. We just keep moving on with our lives. And then today is a super windy day, you guys. But we went to this Japanese souffle place, and I'm not going to say their name, but we went to this Japanese souffle place. And then as I was approaching the front door, it is a windy day. This is an older building, you guys. And this door, it takes some force to open, okay? A spirit literally opened the door for me. This ain't no technology door, okay? Where it senses you and it opens the door, okay? This is a rickety old door that is very heavy. And it swung open like how ghosts open doors. And I've talked about this in other videos, you guys. Ghosts rarely, okay, they can open latches, right? They can turn a latch where the door will open on its own. It swings with its own momentum, its own force. But when a ghost opens a door for you guys, it looks ridiculous. It's like, like they don't have enough energy to just smoothly swing it open. It was literally, and I'm like, is somebody, because there's a glass right into the door too, you guys. I can see into the hallway. But I was like, oh, is there like a little kid trying to open the door? No. And it was a windy day, but you know what? We sat in the restaurant for another 30 minutes because we waited for our souffle, which takes about 15-20 minutes to make, right? That door did not do that again, okay, you guys? And there were a lot of people who came and went since then. Uber Eats picking up orders. That door did not swing open like that again. And I'm just like, you know, I'll just take it as thank you for opening the door for me, but I really don't need this. And it also happened at the Mall of America. I went to go use the stall. And this is an entrance I am not familiar with, you guys. It's one of the, if you guys know where Bath and Body Works is, and it's right next to Camp Snoopy, Nickelodeon World now that they called it. But then I know upstairs is a candy shop, okay? It is on that side of the mall, and you go down this very, very, very long hallway. And I think it's like a transit system, or like that's where the entrance is for the transit system. And then you turn down another super long hallway and you go all the way down to get to the actual restrooms. But anyways, in that stall in particular, I was approaching it and the door did the same ghostly thing. Like, you know, it's nice that ghosts are trying to open doors for me, but I'm okay. I would rather not have this shared experience together. Now, this also reminded me, so Molly and I, we went to this gala event, and this was last weekend, you guys. I had just one drink, okay? Like, I had one drink. I went to go to the restroom, and then I went to go pee, and the restroom is very, very nice. It's got, like, couch set up and everything. Super cute for you to take photos. So then I was sitting in my stall, and then as I'm sitting there, you know, because I'm buzzing, my spirit guides are like, oh, there's a ghost that's about to touch her. So then I said to Molly, I was like, Molly, and she was like, yeah, like yelling back at me. I was like, can you move? And Molly's like, what? And I was like, can you please move? There's a ghost that's about to touch you. So Molly runs to my stall. And she's just kind of standing there. And then I finish, I come out, and Molly's just like, I was just sitting down. I was like, yeah, I know. But then there was another instance that Molly was coming to bed, and as she was coming to bed, my spirit guides woke me up and they said, oh, there's a ghost following her. And I was just like, oh, that's cool. And I just like fell asleep again. But then I was like muttering in my sleep, but I was like awake. But I was asleep. It's a weird feeling if you've ever had this where in your mind you think you're awake, but your body, you can hear yourself like probably snoring or having deep breathing as if you're asleep. But I know I'm awake because my mind and everything, I'm aware. But I don't have the notion to like get up or open my eyes or anything like that. But then I can like hear noises coming from me. And Molly's like, "Do you hear that? Is that you?" And then I stop. And then Molly goes, "Oh, it's just you." But I wasn't doing it. Like but I knew, I know I was awake, but it was just one of those weird moments where you're like in the moment of falling asleep and you swear you're awake, but your body is doing other things. I hope I'm not the only one who experiences these things. All right, so a few questions that I got from my last video, you guys. I want to touch base on them because I think that they were so important. One of the questions was if I've ever swam in the ocean and do I hear voices? I actually have swam in the ocean. I will say I have had many opportunities to be in bodies of water, like by the ocean, right? So I've been down by Florida, beautiful beaches. It is just so different. You know, like Florida beaches are so different from when you go to Cali. I've been from San Francisco down to LA, okay? The beaches there are just so different from when you're in Florida. I only swam down in Miami. And when I was in California, there was just something that just kept telling me, like, don't go into the water, don't go into the water. So I did not swim in San Francisco or when we were down in LA. I did not go in there at all. And it was just one of those things where I was like, it feels like something's bothering you, you know? And so I did not go and swim into the waters whatsoever. But when I went down to Miami, it's for me, what happens is I feel a rush of energy. And as I went into the water, yes, the ocean moves your body a lot, but all I could see were just a lot of images happening and hitting me like crazy. Even if I close my eyes, I can still see the images happening. And it's like you're connecting to the spirits in the water, and you can see all of this stuff, and you can also see them looking back at you. So I was very young. I was probably 2 years into Onegin at the time when I was down in Florida for Miami. And it was just such a rush where, you know, you're allowing, I just sat down. I didn't go swimming, you know, like breaststrokes or nothing, but I just sat down where I was sitting. The water was like about shoulder length, right? And I'm just moving with the water and flowing my hands around. And then I could just see all of these images hitting me as I'm sitting there. And, you know, like for me, I definitely think like back then I was a lot more just like open, like just like accepting of whatever it was coming, whatever it was. But I did go on Nang before I went to Miami though. So maybe that's probably why a lot of it I felt like, oh, you know, it's okay. But what happens is I just see a lot of images hit me. And it's just random images and messages, but for me, I'm just here to enjoy myself. I'm not trying to decipher any messages. It's just whatever I see is whatever I see. So you're just connecting with the spirits there. Now, when I am on a boat or like fishing, okay, like I do have the urge to hungo because I want to soothe most of the times. Most of the times it's to soothe some kind of spirit there. And, you know, now that I'm talking it and I'm saying it out loud, I'm just like, why do I do this? Okay, anyways, only once have I ever hungo, okay? And it was because I was asking for something, okay? I was asking for a fish, and I told them I would give the fish back. I told you guys about my terrible camping experience. Anyways, the story was I went camping with my girlfriend up north. And we were fishing like for hours. We didn't catch anything, you guys. We caught nothing. So then so she gave up. And she is like an avid fisher, okay? So she gave up. And then I'm there and I was like just singing. Like it's just hungo. Like, and during this period, I was still a shaman. And I was singing, and as I was singing, I was saying, you know, like, oh, you know, like how beautiful your body of water is. We are just here visiting. We would really, really like it if you would gift us with a fish, and we will return the fish to you. So we caught a fish. Okay, we caught a fish. Okay. Now, my girlfriend was preparing to cook this fish. My thought is, I don't really care. I'm going to still keep trying to fish. And I had like a headlamp on and tongs because I was trying to catch crawfishes, which I did catch a lot of crawfish. This just sounds so redneck. Anyways, like I'm drinking, I'm catching crawfish into a bucket. So my girlfriend, she's getting the knife out and she's getting ready to kill this fish. The fish just leaps out of the bucket and it starts flipping all the way down the hill to where I am with my tongs trying to catch some crawfish. My girlfriend at the top of the hill is screaming bloody murder, telling me to catch the fish. I'm trying to stab this fish because the fish comes right to me. And it's flipping, it's flopping, and I'm trying to catch and kill this fish, and the fish is right into the water. And I was like, oh yeah, I said I was going to return the fish. So yeah, there's that one time. But then there are other times, like when we did go catch, my first fish, you guys, when I caught my first fish of my life, okay? I am not an outdoorsy girl. I will always prefer glamping. And if there's a hotel nearby, I will gladly stay at the hotel and come visit you at your campsite and go back to my hotel. So we did go up to my girlfriend's cabin. Her family owns a cabin up there. We went on their pontoon and then we were fishing. And I remember I was praying the heck out of it because I had put down my shrine at this time. Okay, I was not practicing shaman. And I was praying like, can you just please bless me with the fish? I caught my first sunny. Okay, so I remember when I caught that fish, man, it was amazing. But also during that time, I wanted to hungo. So when I'm around certain bodies of water, I will want to hungo. A lot of times it is my way of actually pacifying or blessing that body of water because I am there. I can do it, so I choose to do it. So I don't hear like all these crazy voices, okay? Other than I just hear my usual koneng, my spirit guides, that's it. But I don't hear a lot of outside voices where it is something as if I'm talking and you can hear me right now. I don't hear that pretty often. And I'm not going to lie, I would be pretty afraid if I did. Because usually that's not a good sign if you hear that. I'm just saying. All right, my next question that I was asked was really about how do you balance work and oneng and everything, right? And I have touched base on this before in my other videos, but really you guys, especially with our lives now, like for me, I find that, or I have found with YouTube, I used to be very, very consistent, but with my career, as my career progressed and changed, it was very hard to keep a very consistent social media profile and life because, I don't have like a whole team that does all the production and everything. I am the team. Okay. So I discovered that as I advanced further and further in my career and I'm in management. So as I went further and further in my career, it became a lot more stress and it was harder for me to maintain just social media. And then of course my own personal life too. So, and then of course the pandemic and everything that didn't help. So with that being said, when I was a practicing shaman, you guys, I had no life. Okay. For many, many years, I had no personal life where I went on like 3 vacations and one of them was down to Florida, Miami, and 2 was into Chicago, you guys. So really, I didn't have a whole lot of life outside of oneng because oneng is it really takes up a lot of your priorities. Thankfully, like I didn't have like young children to take care of. And so I wasn't caught up in a lot of other responsibilities other than work and then oneng, and so what you really have to do for anybody who is going through that right now, you have to learn to separate your priorities. So even if you have to oneng and you can't commit to 3 times a week, it's okay if you only do it once a week, right? And there are times where you need to speak to your spirit guides, have a real heart-to-heart with them so that they understand that life will still happen and it's hard for you to maintain both sides. They will come to an understanding with you. They will. So definitely, I don't recommend as a shaman to only oneng once a month, okay? because, and that look is for my girlfriend, because she will call me, and what I think what sometimes people don't realize, because they're living in it, they can't see it. But for me, if I'm around a shaman and I can feel that they feel kind of crazy. That's why. And it's because they haven't oneng in a while. And so it is very important that you do separate your time to still go and oneng. Listen to the girl who ran away from onenging. Okay, yeah, that's right, you guys. But when I did have my shrine, I always still committed time to be able to go in oneng. Now, here's the kicker, okay? It's not as easy as it's you alone and you're doing it. You usually need somebody to tianeng, which is the person who watches the shaman. And you need to find somebody who can or is willing to help watch you. And I get it. It's you, the person going through it. So you're experiencing it alone. You're seeing it alone. Person on the outside is pretty bored, okay? They don't want to be there. They have a million other things they'd rather do than sit here for you to go for hours. You're chanting, you're loud, you're making all this noise. So for them, they probably really rather not be there, okay? You do need to find somebody to just, hey, like, you know, I'm really sorry. I don't care what it takes. You take them out to dinner, you pay the money. You need to have this time that you do go and do it. I remember my older brother, he had to watch me oneng. Sometimes I would have aunties come over. They would watch me oneng. Granted, because they also wanted services, okay? So usually, the thing is, it doesn't always have to be your spouse, your boyfriend, your girlfriend. It could be your children. It could be a family member, okay? And typically, you just want somebody who you trust, right? And I have never come across a situation where my spirit guides were like, no, this person's dirty. Don't have them watch us. No, that's never happened. Okay. So now I'm not saying that's going to be true for everybody, but for my lineage, okay, it could have been anybody. We just need you to hit the door 3 times. Okay. We got the rest. Okay. And so like most of the times as a person who has the tianeng, if you have no idea what to do, it's very easy. So depending on the shaman style, they will actually tell you what your role is. Okay. Like me preparing my shrine, because you can't just oneng and go, you have to boil a new egg every time. I went through a lot of eggs, y'all. You have to boil a new egg every time. You got to toast up new rice every single time, okay? You got to prepare your candle. And if your candle's getting low, you need to tell the person watching you, this is where I keep my new candles. And you got to tell them exactly how you can replace it. Have them watch the incense sticks when they're getting low, how they need to relight up more incense sticks and fill it back up on your baskets, okay? So I would prepare everything, including preparing the water for my shrine and everything. I would even bring my own bench. I would carry my bench down. I would put my joss money on my bench. I would tape it down myself. I would go and shower and get myself all ready. And then I would hand them my tools and tell them, what do you need to do? And I'll tell you when to do it. And I've also mentioned in other videos, my spirit guides allow me to speak in English to the person if they cannot understand me, because they understand my needs. So they work their way around my needs. It's not super strict where there are certain things you can't do, because my spirit guides, they understand this is what I need and this is what I have to do, so that they are taken care of as well. They take care of me in the spirit world. So that's kind of the deal. Now, I have mentioned in other videos, when I started it, I had to go every single day, you guys. Every single day I had to do it, okay? And, you know, most of the times when I would go, if I'm just onenging at home, it would only run about an hour, hour and a half sometimes. This isn't like no 5-hour sessions, okay? This is like, you know, we always kept it around under 2 hours. And, you know, like, I'm giggling here because I'm remembering old memories, you know, like of weird stuff I would do, and then I would get yelled at. So, like, one time I was just done. I didn't want to oneng anymore, so I forced them to stop. And then my freaking girlfriend snitched on me, and she was like, what did you do? They're not ready to let you go. I was like, oh, and I put my cat back down. So pretty much everything under the book, you guys, I probably pulled it, okay? They are very, very forgiving of you, okay, is what I gotta say. But I will say that, you know, they would punish me though if they knew I wasn't going to oneng, but they've already told me and I know I have to go. and I still choose to ignore it, I do get punished for that, okay? And so, I'm not trying to limp around all day, so I will just go and do it. And once you're done, it's so nice, but it's really a commitment, you guys. It really is a commitment. It's a lot of work. And I get it when you're really stressed about work and stuff. Okay, I've known shamans who, when they start, they're really, really into it, right? So they're really committed. But then along their journey, they start to kind of feel a little bit lost. And what they end up doing is they will kind of like make excuses, okay? And I'm saying this because I can say it when you're complaining, okay? I know you're lying, okay? But people will say, oh, I'm too stressed about work. I'm too stressed about that. But in reality, they were actually struggling and they just didn't know how to just tell people, or that they could tell people that they were just struggling. And that's why they lost some motivation when it came to going into the spirit world and onang. That's right. I'm Americanizing the term onang. Okay. So they would, they would try to make up excuses. They were tired. They had a headache. Like when I'm sitting there and my spirit guides are like, they're lying. They're lying. So, like me being very understanding that, this is a mental health issue now. This is no longer just other things impacting them. So I will say, if you know of a shaman, or if you are this shaman, okay, it is very easy at times to make up excuses to cover for other issues instead of facing those issues. Like I've seen a lot in my time, you guys, and your mental health is very important. So if you do feel that you're struggling, it is very important you find somebody that you can actually talk to. And it helps a lot sometimes when you're talking to other shamans who are still on their journey as well. They're not like having already been a master shaman, okay? Especially if they're really established. You don't really want to bother them, especially if you have a teacher, okay? Sometimes when we have teachers who are elders, like my teacher was an elder. I didn't care. I told her everything under the sun. Everything that hit my head, I told her. Okay, so she's probably just looking at me like, who is this girl? But I'll be like, teacher, does this ever happen to you? And then she would just affirm everything. So I really got that down. And my best friend, she was also a shaman. And so it really helped, where I spent hours and hours just talking and hashing things out that was coming across my mind. So it's a lot harder if you don't have that. If you don't have somebody to talk to, even things that you might think is so minuscule, so stupid, it really helps for you to talk it out, for you to also come to that comprehension versus holding it all in because you don't see anybody else doing it. Nobody else is mentioning it. Everybody seems to be going fine on their journey. It's really just you. And it's okay if you end up becoming a very different type of shaman from others that you're used to or in your circle. That's going to happen, okay? You are going to experience things other shamans don't, just like vice versa, right? That is just going to be normal, but people don't always talk about it, especially if they don't want to come off that they don't know what they're doing. But it's more important that you talk about it rather than internalizing it, because that is what makes people lose motivation, and then they don't do it. So if your spirit guides are not very forceful and you're kind of stuck where you don't know how to talk to them, you don't know what you're doing in the spirit world, etc., you need to be reaching out to somebody for help, because that community is meant to help you. Yes, I know some of it can be very toxic, and some people just think it's in your head, and it doesn't help when all you ever hear is, oh, that was not, like ghosts or the spirits will just do it for you. Don't worry about it. You don't need to know, But I find usually when that is said, it's because the individual doesn't know how to explain it. So you don't need to worry about it because it's you, okay? So that is the honest truth. So if you find that you tend to, maybe your priority now is more about work, or like, you have a feeling, your wife doesn't really like watching you, doesn't really like being involved, it's okay to find somebody else or talk to them. Like, hey, I hear you. I get it too. It's a lot of work. I appreciate your commitment, and like compromise. Like, this is what, like just whatever it takes, right? Because you need to figure this out, because at the end of the day, The shaman journey, yes. When you are an established shaman, you can help a lot of people. But at the end of the day, a lot of it is you and your mental health and how you are going through your journey alone. It is not with anybody else. Even if your spouse is a shaman with you and you both are doing it, okay? Your own journey is your own journey, okay? You guys don't want to hang together at the same time, like you're both riding on a horse side by side. That's not how it works. You are on your own. And so you really need to reach out for help, talk about these things, figure it out. And you really need to make sure that you are okay, because that journey, everything that you're experiencing, it's you. It's your mental health. I hope that helps you guys. But for me, I feel like I got really lucky where I had a lot of support. I had a lot of help. And, I just say whatever's on my mind and then I figure it out. But then, like, my spirit guides, they talk to me a lot. They show me a lot of things. I get yelled at a lot, you guys, okay? It's not always fun and games, okay? It's because I get yelled at a lot because I don't listen, okay? But there's a lot of people who aren't like me, so it's very hard. But I do think it's important to definitely have these conversations. And in case you guys are ever wondering what actually ended up happening with the person who started losing a lot of mojo for wanting pretty much their own journey, they ended up putting the shrine down. So they just ended up walking away from being a shaman. But a lot of it, you will find that the shaman will have a lot of, it's really a journey about yourself, right? And if you never complete it, you will always have that sense of wonder, of course, but then you become a little bit bitter by it. And in reality, this individual needed a different teacher, but they didn't know who else to go to. So then instead of choosing to go the route of finding another teacher, because it was too much work in their mind, they were making up a lot of excuses. It was too much work. Oh, nobody understands my journey, etc. And then they started blaming others, like, oh, they didn't take me seriously as a student. But at the end of the day, your teacher doesn't teach you anything, okay? Like, I keep saying this, but sometimes I feel like people don't believe me. Your teacher doesn't teach you what to do in the spirit world. They don't. Okay, some lineages do. Okay, I'll take this back. But in my lineage, they don't teach you nothing, okay? They will teach you what to do to prepare your shrine, why you have things done a certain way. But when you go into the spirit world, you're on your own, okay? Your teacher's not next to you, yelling at you, coaching you, telling you every single step, every single song. You are on your own. They don't teach you those things. So if you find that you're struggling and you can't do it like naturally, and you have to be very honest with yourself. You have to be very honest. If you can't naturally hoon and go, which is singing the songs and the chants, you have to consider, is this the right teacher for you? Because the style is probably not matching up. And it's okay if somebody's not your teacher. It doesn't mean you're stronger, they're stronger, you're weaker, they're weaker. It just means this isn't your lineage, okay? If it doesn't line up, it doesn't line up. And that's why it's so hard to raise a shaman, especially if they don't know of other shamans too. And shamans are so secretive when it comes to this too. But like, this is like all about word of mouth. Who do you know? Who else do you know? And you may be surprised at who you find out actually ends up becoming your teacher later on. But this individual in particular, they needed a different teacher. Their style was going to be very different, but they were trying to mimic and be the style of shamans that they've only known because they saw them one-naying all the time. So then they tried to mimic their ways to be like that. But other shamans like us sitting on the outside, we're like, ooh, oh man, this is an awkward. It's very awkward for everybody involved, okay? And nobody wants to just say it like, the goals that you're singing or saying, your style is supposed to be a little bit different because there's a lot of politics involved with being shamans. I'm just thankful. Right now, I'm not in it. All right. Now, the last question everybody was asking. The whole karma thing, right? And the taking of the extra luck, you guys. So, in reality, this is an exchange, okay? So, you don't, okay. this is the illegal route, okay, of the people who will just go and take people's hmong. Okay, that is the illegal route, right? So what I would say that I do when I travel, it's like karma, right? Like I did something for somebody and in exchange I got something else. So here's the kicker. My spirit guides taught me to see the opening of the luck in what I can draw or take, right? They showed me how to see it and take it. Now, how I learned to take it, I actually learned it from Michael. Okay, so I can't tell you how to take it. Okay, you have to be taught how to take it. So that's why I say it's like opening up a can of worms. Okay, you can't just go around taking people's luck. Okay, you have to do something in exchange, and then an opening happens. And this is how I see it. That's why I'm saying an opening happens. It's literally you, and then there's this cloud of luck in front of it, like pretty much floating above you. And then I'm able to just grab it and pull that energy over to me. And then what happens is I exchange it into the universe later to ensure whatever I need happens, okay? So it's not the same as like manifestation, all right? So a lot of times people talk about manifestation, and it's funny because a lot of people talk about it nowadays on social media. Manifestation is basically a state of mind that you believe and you keep your eye on the ball, basically, and that everything you do, all of your goals, every step you take, no matter how small, it will lead you to your goal. Okay, that is manifestation. Of when I talk about like willing things, or like of taking of the karma or the extra luck there. Okay, it is an actual thing I do. It's because I don't want you to think it's as easy as, oh, it's a thought. I can think about it and then it comes. For myself, and this is the thing though, this is only what happens to me. Other people, they may take their karma, their good luck, etc. differently. Okay, this is just my process and my method, but we actually do something to take it. So, like if I don't take it in that moment, it's gone. I can't go back, you guys. Like 2 days from now, oh yeah, I remember I helped that guy at work. I better go take that thing. That's not how it works. And then also only sometimes it opens, and that's when I take it. Okay, so it's not there's like this extra luck always hanging out. Okay, so it's not like that either. But in one of my videos, I did describe the sensation and the feeling, but you have to go back and find the video, and it is around Michael and the things that he taught me. And there was even a task I wrote on social media that you can practice doing. So if you can successfully achieve those things, it is similar to that. Happy hunting! All right, you guys, so that's it. Until next time.